Dude, you got an NSPIRE. All right, let us open a new document. Today we're going to talk about storing things. Why not? Let's imagine you have the square root of 1729, and we're going to see what that is in a decimal form. One way to do that is Control Enter. Again, you could have if I can actually just scroll back up and hit Enter to bring it back down. You could have also put a decimal point in there. That'll give you in decimal form and not in exact form. And let's say you want to now use this value. Well, this value currently is stored as your current answer. See that little A and S right there? So if you were just wanting to use this previous answer without even necessarily storing it, it's already stored there, you can hit something like, let's do a division sign. So controlled divide is actually, I think, even better than plain old divide because it sets things up nicely like this, because let's say you want to do like 1/5 plus your answer. You don't have to put parentheses and anything like that, and it's all pretty print. It looks nice. Can't beat it. Now to get to A and S, you got to hit Control Answer. So it's going to take your previous answer and plug it in there. I hit Enter, and that's what that value is. See, it even plugged it in for you. Awesome. But now I don't have that anymore. Now this is my current A and S. So if I wanted that value, I really should have stored it somewhere if I'm going to use it again and again. So actually, I can just scroll back up there though and grab it. So I hit Enter. There it is. Now I have it. Now to store just a number like this, see this little stow, all right? I can hit Control variable for stow. I'm going to stow that as a variable like A, or I could choose B or C, or or I could even do a string of variables. I could do A, B, C. I would avoid using X and Y because you use those in functions for so many other things that you don't really want to ever get in the habit of doing that. And then if I just hit Enter, now if I click on A, notice it's bold. That means something is there, all right? It's defined as something. And if I hit Enter, look, that's what it's defined as. Also, if I click on my little variable button up here, it'll show you which variables are defined. Right now, only A is defined. So now that I have A there, I could do something like, well, what is A squared? A squared is 1729. So remember, that's what we defined it as the square root of 1729. So that makes sense. So that's one way to store things. And again, that will be stored as long as I stay in this document. Once I open a new document, it resets all those values, which is why it's good to always start with a clean slate when you're working on the calculator and always open up a brand new set of documents. What else? Let's say you want to define a function. Well, one way to define a function is type in define. So you click through this and you type in define. I mean, you can also find it in the menu, but and now see it once it says define, see how it's no longer italicized. If I get rid of the E, that's it. So it doesn't understand what that means, but the calculator does know what define means. Let's say I want to define f of x to equal. So you go to the equal sign. Let's do x squared plus 3. All right, done. It's defined there. I hit my variables. See, I got my little f there. All right. So what is f of x? If I hit on it, it's x squared plus 3. So now I've defined f of x. That's one way to do it. There is a little faster way. Let's say I want to define g of x. You could do it this way as well. G of x. And then see the magic button? Right above the magic button, you've got the colon equal sign. You hit Control magic button to pull that up. This is another way to define something. So you could define this as, again, let's do this one as x minus 10. Enter. Done. So now I've defined g of x. And now see how it's bold because something's defined there. G of x. And that's defined as x minus 10. You could have also defined a value as well. Let's say I want to make b be defined as the number, let's say 65. All right, so now if I hit B, it's 65. Again, another way to do things. Can't beat it. All right, guess it's time to go report that UFO sighting. See ya.